Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into your Monday morning edition of Wasatch Weekends. I cannot believe we are 29 days through July already. It feels like this month has absolutely flown by. I'm your host today, Maddie Evans, and we've got a great show in store for you. We're going to introduce you to Katie Wang from the Park City Film Series. That way you can mark your calendars to go participate in all the fun that's happening there tomorrow. Then we're going to introduce you to the National Association of Insurance Commissioners and answer all of the questions that you may have, as well as the National Civilian Community Corp. Whew, these are mouthfuls first thing this morning. So make sure that you stay tuned for this great episode of Wasatch Weekends. We're going to take a look at that local weather forecast though right now. Are you looking for something great to do? Well, the Park City Film Series has always got you covered, and I'm joined by Katie Wang. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to be here because in talking to you always inspires me to get more into film because your passion resonates through to the viewers consistently. So let's talk about what you have going on.
So we're continuing on with our Studio Ghibli Film Festival, which has been super exciting this summer. It's a new project for us. It's certainly a project of passion. I am a huge fan of Japanese anime and Studio Ghibli in particular because they are kind of the unparalleled star in the world of anime. But this year we put together a collection of Hayao Miyazaki's films, kind of spanning the breadth of his career. And it's been exciting to see speakers come in, families from down in the valley, all over the state of Utah, but just really immersing themselves and celebrating this auteur of the craft. So we're continuing on Tuesday, July 30th with Howl's Moving Castle. Which I think is one that's quite popular particularly amongst young people in Utah. I've been told from a film professor down at the U that this is the one that her students every year are like, oh, this is hands down our favorite film. So it's kind of fun to bring in some fan favorites as well. But if you're not familiar with this story, it's kind of a unique one. Certainly within the world of animation, but definitely within the world of Miyazaki. A quiet girl befriends a mysterious wizard whose name is Howl, and is cursed by the Witch of the Waste and turned into a 90-year-old woman. She boards Howl's magnificent moving castle, thus the name, in search of the cure and becomes immersed in this kind of dangerous war of sorcery. And so it's this beautiful film about compassion and belonging and kindness, but also about the perils of war at the time the Iraq War was happening. And so Miyazaki is well known for taking kind of themes of what's going on in the world around him and infusing them into the films that he creates. And this is certainly no different there, but just having a young woman turn into an old woman is quite unique within the world of anime, but also that it's a love story, which, there are kind of elements of love and relationships in his films, but this one's a little bit more mature in that sense. I mean, it's still a PG film, but just in terms of that relationship between the two main characters, you don't often see that kind of developed in the films that he's created. So slightly different for that film as well.
This has been such a great little film series that you have done and kind of a little film festival. What inspired this?
Well, it's interesting. As I said, always been a huge fan of anime, but right now anime is having this huge resurgence. I have two young children, and it's been fun to watch them just get engaged with this medium. In this country, I feel like animation is often, kind of designated to the realm of children of like, oh, we don't take it very seriously. It's cartoons. And certainly there is that element in the United States, but anime in Japan has been around since the 40s, and it has really become a much more complex medium and one that certainly appeals to children, but really has themes that are appropriate for adults. I mean, particularly when you look at Hayao Miyazaki's films and the storyboards that he creates. I mean, there's elements of existentialism and, what's going on in the world around him and looking at current events and complexity and ambiguity. And what I love about it is that I can talk to my 12-year-old and my 17-year-old and my 70-year-old patrons, and we can all have a great conversation and kind of be on the same page and take away completely different things from his stories because they are so complex, but also so approachable. And that's just the genius in that is just thrilling to, and it's exciting to be able to see it on the big screen because they're not often shown in theaters now. But just to immerse yourself in that world, it's just so full of imagination. It's just exciting to be able to bring it together in the way that we have this summer.
Which I think is one of the most powerful aspects of Coming to Anything at the Park City Film Series is that you do have the opportunity to have these intellectual conversations that can help change perspectives or open minds, or just to hear someone else out on what they thought of the screening is so important, but also so fascinating.
Absolutely. And what's great about animation and anime in particular is that, with Miyazaki's, the way that he imagines the world or reimagines the world is so unique that it's completely unexpected, that you go and you have no idea where the story is going to go, but in a beautiful way, right? You're not confused. You're just, delighted of saying, wow, this is something that I did not expect. And then it opens your mind to just kind of a new way of thinking about the world of like, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about it from that angle. And what an interesting way that he's put together these stories. Whereas, often, again, with animation that's fed to children in the United States, it's kind of spoon feeding you of like, oh, I know this storyline. I know what to expect. I know how we're going to get there. And it's entertaining, but it's not very provocative. And anime, and certainly Miyazaki, is provocative, but in a very delightful way. So it's been fun, again, to just kind of mix it up a little bit. But Howl's Moving Castle is certainly one that I think some folks are familiar with, but not kind of in the mainstream of Miyazaki's genre. So it's been, to be able to bring that to the big screen and show people something slightly different that maybe they haven't experienced before, even if they are familiar with anime.
Now, if people are interested in getting to participate in all of the great films that you're bringing, and especially these anime films, when is the showing of this one?
So Howl's Moving Castle will be on Tuesday, July 30th. It's a Tuesday. It's at 7 o'clock. You can get tickets at parkcityfilm.org or at the box office an hour before the posted showtime. We do have a special $5 ticket price for students. So if you are a student, whether it's elementary, high school, college, we got you covered. We'd love to have you come. So you've got a special ticket price as that. We'll have 2 more screenings after this one as part of the Ghibli Film Festival at the end of August. So we'll show the last 2 films that Miyazaki created, The Wind Rises, and we'll have a professor from the University of Utah speak after that film. And then the last film will, of course, be The Boy and the Heron, which is the film that Miyazaki just won the Academy Award for, that was released in February. So kind of fun to see, all the way from the beginning of his career when we started in June to potentially the end of his career. He's 82, so it might be his last film. We're hoping not. But again, we'll have some more films, but you can check out our website and see what's going on in the series. And of course, we hope that folks will come to Howl's Moving Castle on Tuesday, and hopefully all of them before the end of the summer.
Well, it's such a great date night idea, and of course, you can get dinner before, but then you can enjoy the best popcorn bar in the Wasatch back.
Absolutely. Bring your own bowl, get $1 for popcorn. That's always an incentive. And we have some fun little Studio Ghibli giveaways. So folks that know Park City Film know that we do a fun little raffle before a film every time and give away local goodies, baked bread, fresh baked cookies. But also we've kind of mixed in a couple of Studio Ghibli treats. So you can go home with a great little memento of the Studio Ghibli Film Festival this summer.
Which I think is so great that you do all of these wonderful little things to make the experience at the Park City Film so unique. And you guys have done that for quite some time now. If people want to get involved with Park City Film, let's really quickly talk about how you're a great nonprofit here in the community, and that's why you do such wonderful things for everyone in our community, but how people can step in, show support to Park City Film Series.
Absolutely. And right now we're the only movie theater in all of Summit County because Redstone is being renovated by Larry H. Miller and will be turned into a multiplex, which is great, but that won't come online until about December. So if you love seeing movies in theaters, please come see movies in theaters because that's how we can continue to exist, whether it's a commercial theater or Park City Film as a nonprofit. If you love what we do, and I hope you do, you can become a volunteer. And if you go to our website at parkcityfilm.org, we have a volunteer tab. Check out what films we have coming up. You can learn how to make the best popcorn in Summit County, or you can sell tickets, do fun things like that. We're coming up on the Sundance Film Festival. fairly soon, 6 months out now, and we certainly have volunteer slots for that. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. You can also become a member or a donor. We would love to have you join us in our independent film loving tribe. We've got events throughout the year planned for our members, of course, discounted ticket prices. But really, the heart of it is that you're helping to support independent cinema here in our community and helping us to put together great events like the Studio Ghibli Film Festival. And as we come back online for our weekend series in September, helping to bring the best new independent film back into Summit County, back into Park City. And it's our 30th anniversary this year. So help us exist for another 30 years or more.
Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information, and happy 30th anniversary.
Thank you so much. It's good to be young.
Yes, it is. Again, thank you for taking the time to chat with us. Make sure that you check out the Park City Film Series and you participate in all of the wonderful things that they have coming down the pipeline. Mark your calendars, go to their website, enjoy a fabulous date night here in our wonderful community. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned. I'm in. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners is here to answer some questions to maybe help make it easier on you, because not a lot of people know how to use their deductibles or their co-pays, and it's really important that you know that as you're making your way to the doctor. So let's introduce you to some fabulous people right now.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Now, our next guest is here to talk to us about the importance of insurance. How can we ensure there are no gaps in our insurance, or how to ensure that we have adequate coverage, as well as why, as Americans, and especially as young adults, why we need to make insurance more of a priority. And I am definitely interested to hear all about it because, Andrew, I'm guilty of not really being informed when it comes to insurance. So joining us this morning, we have President of the National Association of Insurance Commissioner, Andrew Mays, joining us to talk about this important topic. Andrew, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, great to be here on TV8 with you today, and we will absolve you from not knowing enough about insurance, because apparently an awful lot of Gen Zers and others don't, which is what we're trying to change.
Yes, it can be a little bit intimidating, I'm not going to lie, but I know that you all just conducted a survey and there were some really interesting findings. So tell me a little bit about this survey and how Gen Z feels about insurance.
Well, Gen Z felt, and you just mentioned intimidating,
Yes.
and that is really what we heard. More than half of the respondents said they were overwhelmed or anxious just at the thought of dealing with insurance. And this has consequences, because if you look at young adults, I mean, we're talking Gen Z here at 18 to 27, people just getting started. Well, 1 in 3 said they were going to wait as long as possible to get their own life insurance, which just means it's going to be more expensive. And 1 in 4 said the same for health insurance. What happens if you need it? We need to do better education, and that's not on them, that's on us.
Yeah, absolutely. That is very interesting findings. And like you said, I think I share those same feelings of anxiousness, of intimidation when it comes to insurance. But you're right. I think education is a huge part of it. And kind of speaking on that education or information part, how do we know, Andrew, if our insurance is up to date, or how do we know if our insurance has no gaps? How do we ensure that we're covered?
Easy way to do this. We're the state insurance regulators. We're the ones that regulate insurance in this country. We have no skin in the game. We don't care about one company over another. What we want is to protect consumers, and that's why we have a website, naic.org. You go to that website, you're going to see a pop-up that you can click on that will tell you all about insurance. It will tell you way more than you ever needed to know, probably. But you will find out everything about insurance, and probably the single most important thing, there will be a link to your state insurance department. And every state insurance department has a consumer affairs division where people are happy to help you. They'd rather have you get the right coverage beforehand. They would rather educate than have to deal with things afterwards. So reach out to them. Go to the website, reach out to your individual insurance departments. Nobody has to face these issues alone.
Yeah, that's very important. And Andrew, as you talk about insurance, you mentioned life insurance. What would you say are some of the other most important types of insurance?
And insurance is one of those things where they say insurance is like air. You don't think about it until you need it.
Yeah.
But clearly, health insurance is of prime importance. Auto insurance, if you drive.
Right.
One interesting item we saw in the survey was that 1 in 3 Gen Zers have insurance for their cell phone, and I'm not sure how that happened.
Wow.
Because in my family, the cell phones are on the family plan that they say. but dad, everybody else pays for it. But despite the fact that a third of them have that insurance, only 21% have renter's insurance. So you've got your phone, which is fine. But if something happens to this beautiful new place that you're renting and something gets lost or stolen, you are not going to have it. And so that's part of the concern that we see. We want to make sure that you understand the coverages that are available, that you should have, that you could have, and then make your own informed decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I hadn't even thought about cell phone insurance, so that's definitely an interesting thing that, a lot, I mean, it seems like some Gen Zs are more interested in covering their phone than, like you said, maybe the property where they're living at. Now, Andrew, if we have questions or if we feel like we're having insurance problems, what can we do or what do you recommend?
Easy way again, NAIC.org.
Okay.
It's a one-stop shop, so you can find out what you need. You can go through it. We'll tell you what all the insurance terms mean. So, only I think 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Gen Zers understood what a deductible or a copay is. It will explain all of that to you. It will tell you how insurance works, and it will give you the information for that state insurance department in your state. They are there to help you. Reach out. They will help you figure out what you should have. They will help you figure out the questions that you should ask your agent or broker. It all depends on your individual circumstance. Know what you need, and then you can be an informed shopper.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely be checking out that website as soon as we finish the interview, Andrew, because there are definitely some things that I need to read up on. And I love that, all those resources are on that one website where we can all go and learn more about all these different topics about insurance that we're talking about now. Andrew, we know inflation is driving up costs of pretty much everything throughout the nation, including insurance. So how can we ensure, or how can consumers ensure that, we're getting the adequate coverage at a reasonable price?
You're absolutely correct. Inflation has affected costs in so many ways, not just in terms of the cost of auto repairs, for instance, because the stuff they use to repair the car has gone up, but also housing costs.
Right.
If the house is worth more, it's going to charge you more. Again, what you want to do is make sure that you talk to your insurance department. And then when you're all done, go to your agent, your broker, your company, and make sure that they're offering you the coverage that you need. That's important.
Yeah.
And then have them see what they can do to reduce your costs. If you're a driver and you want to link your auto insurance to your renter's insurance, for instance, you might get a discount. You want to use telematics, you might get a discount there. But shop around and ask.
Shop around, ask, stay informed, make sure you're asking questions. And I think, one of the key takeaways for me, especially, Andrew, is not to be intimidated by all these terms that maybe we don't know, or by all these different types of coverage that we may not be familiar. I think the important thing you talk about today is staying informed and being educated, right?
Absolutely. And, I'm happy to help you, Julio, if you have questions, just so you know.
Thank you so
Because this is why we're here.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Andrew. Once again, if you can remind us of the website, or where can we go to learn more about all of the things we touched on today?
Let's head back to the website, NAIC.org. That's for National Association of Insurance Commissioners. Again, remember, it is not a commercial site. We are the regulators. So we are providing info, not recommending any particular company. But you can go on, you can check to see if your agent or broker is licensed. You can see if they've had their complaint record for a company. There's so much you're going to be able to find out there. And then you can reach out to your state insurance department for more. So again, NAIC.org, there for you.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, folks. Make sure you visit that website if you're interested in learning more or have any questions related to insurance, NAIC.org. All those resources will be there for you. And Andrew, thank you so much for talking to us about this important topic today.
Thank you for having me on TV8, Julio.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Andrew. We are going to take a short break, but we'll be back with more of the show right after this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wondered what the National Civilian Community Corp does? I'm always curious to learn more, so let's take a look at what they have to say.
Climate concerns are top of mind, especially with young adults, and a new AmeriCorps program is helping them take action. Ken Goodson, Director of AmeriCorps National Civilian Community Corps, or AmeriCorps NCCC, is with us to share a little bit more. So Ken, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Of course. So what is AmeriCorps National Civilian Community Corps?
Yeah, AmeriCorps NCCC, or National Civilian Community Corps, is a team-based service program for young adults ages 18 to 26 who are interested in coming together to work on teams to help address some of the nation's most pressing priorities. AmeriCorps NCCC has been around for a little over 30 years, starting as a demonstration project at the Department of Defense before moving over to AmeriCorps. We have engaged young adults over the years in 3 service streams: our traditional program, which meets community-identified needs; the FEMA Corps program, which focuses primarily on disaster response, recovery, and preparation; and through our Summer of Service, which is an intense 3-month summertime service-focused commitment. We are also now actively in the process of launching a 4th service program, which is the AmeriCorps NCCC Forest Corps, an interagency partnership with the United States Forest Service.
And that goes perfectly into my next question, which is, can you talk to us about what this new forest program is?
Yeah, happy to. We're so excited about it. The U.S. Forest Service approached AmeriCorps NCCC a little over a year ago. They were in the process of rolling out their new wildfire crisis strategy, as well as looking at how they could infuse more energy into their reforestation strategy, and felt like AmeriCorps NCCC was the perfect venue and avenue to be able to make that happen. So through the Forest Corps program, NCCC will recruit and train young adults in things like team building, leadership skills, and then we'll deploy those teams to projects identified by the Forest Service on national forests around the United States. In the early years, that's going to be predominantly in the Western United States, where there's a higher risk of wildfire and more intense wildfires. And the members of the teams will then complete service projects to advance the wildfire crisis strategy and the reforestation strategy. They'll work on a minimum of 3 projects over the course of their service term, gaining hands-on skills and professional credentials and certifications from the Forest Service. So at the end of their service term, they are ready to apply for careers either with the Forest Service or with other land management agencies, and to be well qualified to compete for such positions.
And how does the Forest Corps program work in partnership with President Biden's American Climate Corps?
Yeah, so the President's initiative, the American Climate Corps, allows us to bring a lot of different AmeriCorps efforts focused on conservation and land management under a single shared umbrella. And through that effort, we'll be able to advance the President's priorities to address the climate crisis, but we'll also be better equipped to share information across individual organizations such as AmeriCorps NCCC that are all playing a role in the overall effort to help combat the climate crisis and to train the next generation of young adults ready to engage in green jobs for the future.
And Ken, is there anything that I haven't asked you that you'd like to go over? And also, can you provide a website if our audience wants to learn more?
Yeah, happy to. I would underscore for your viewers that the AmeriCorps NCCC Forest Corps program represents a wonderful opportunity both to address current needs, such as helping to mitigate the wildfire crisis that exists, particularly in our Western United States, but it's also a long-term investment. And I think there's going to be wonderful opportunities for members of the program to help position themselves for employment after their service commitment based on the skills and experiences they have while serving in the program. And you can get more information at americorps.gov/Forest Corps.
Couldn't find my mute button. Perfect. Thank you so much for being with us, Ken.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much for tuning into your Monday morning edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here to bring you all of this great information. I hope you've marked your calendars. That way you can make your way over to the Park City Film Series and enjoy the great Jubilee Fest that's taking place right now, as well as answered so many great questions about copay and deductibles for those of you who maybe didn't know about it before. Now make sure that you tune in every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for Wasatch Weekends. That way you can get in the know before you go. I've been your host this Monday, Maddie Evans, and I can't wait to see you next week.